thought I'd do something a little bit different today for my PD365 vlog. Tech is incredibly important to me. It's my job and it's the thing that helps me continue to be able to do the things that I need to do day to day, and I see it very much as the future of that. I'm really into kind of accessibility and kind of equipment being accessible as well as websites being accessible. I've always been an Apple girl because they have really great inbuilt accessibility, I think, personally, but I've been struggling recently with my phone and with my laptop to not just be bashing the keys all the time. And I'm finding it's taking me longer to do things, and as a designer, time is money. So kind of having equipment that is really simple to use and Parkinson's friendly is really important to me. So while I've been over in Seattle, I've been talking a lot to the guys at Microsoft, and they've kindly loaned me one of these, which is the Surface Pro Studio. It's essentially a giant tablet, touchscreen, but it does this. It's like a transformer. Oh, got my keyboard in the way. So it basically lowers right down, which is really useful because then it's got that kind of desktop view of it being kind of upright, and then you can do sort of anything in between, and I find this actually works quite well for me, this sort of height. But it's like kind of power assisted. Apparently it took them years to get the hinging right, and I can see why it's good. It's kind of like the soft close cupboards you get at home, where it sort of helps you out a little bit as it closes itself. But yeah, it feels kind of really sturdy, and it's not hard to do. It's not difficult to kind of open and close it. So when it's at this height, this is something that I would use for kind of sketching or drawing or just day-to-day sort of browsing, really. And the great thing about it is that it has multiple sort of routes to entering information. So depending on how my Parkinson's is and in what way it's affecting me, so whether it's kind of tremor or rigidity or just general being annoying, there's kind of multiple routes into using the device. So there's the traditional keypad, there's a mouse, there's this, which has a technical name but I've forgotten it, which is like a hockey puck. And you put this on the screen and use it as a dial to kind of, you know, select colours and things like that. It's really very clever. And then there's a stylus, which comes with different nibs. There's kind of assorted nibs so that you can have kind of different levels of like hardness and things like that. And the whole thing is completely touchscreen. So it means that if I am wanting to enter a website URL to go kind of searching for something, I can either do that through the traditional typing method. I can kind of click and type or use the stylus and then type into it. But also there's this pretty nifty thing where if I go into the search, say for example I go into here, it brings up a section at the bottom that I can write. So here I'm looking for my name. So basically I've there searching for Emma. In the scrappiest writing ever, I've written Emma, and it's realised that's what I'm looking for. And then I'm able to search that. So basically, there's kind of different routes. So if I'm having a day where typing is difficult, I can write it instead, which is great. I think that's a really nice little feature. For the drawing side of things, I'm finding that really interesting. because let's just open this up here. So I'm opening my kind of usual drawing software, which is Illustrator. It loads up a reduced version, which is more simplified for touchscreen. Just like that. And that's a more simplified view, which means that I can sort of draw and things on it. So I find the angle of the screen and the kind of slickness of the screen really good for drawing, because even if I'm not wearing the watch device, it's kind of smoothing out my lines. So the combination of Illustrator, there's kind of smoothness of the screen and the stylus, and the way that it does that, it means that I actually get a really neat line, but it doesn't look fake. It looks looks good, and that's kind of a combination of Illustrator features and the kind of texture of the screen itself just being really like slidey, I guess, and there just being no friction. And there's also a thing called can't remember the technical name for it, but it's it kind of forgets your palm, so as your hand leans on the screen it's not detecting that, and that's something that I really struggle with if I'm using sort of other tablet devices or drawing devices, is the fact that sometimes my hand will inadvertently press loads of things, so it's like my hand isn't even there, it's just my fingers that are controlling it. I'm finding the sort of the kind of pinch and stuff on here a lot better, because it's bigger, it's kind of bigger movements, and the buttons and things like that for kind of selecting for the touchscreen are bigger, and I can, if they're smaller, I can just use the stylus. But yeah, all in all, I find it really useful. It's converted me a little bit. I mean, I wasn't kind of looking for anything new, but I think it's going to really help the work I'm doing. I mean, I'll try it with some other things later, but for kind of illustration and things like that, it's definitely good. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to like it as much. No offence, Microsoft, but you don't have a history in design product so much as Apple, and actually, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty handy, and all the accessibility stuff that's being done by Microsoft at the moment is pretty top notch. It's made me realise that you can't stick with a brand because you're comfortable with that brand. If you have a condition, you need to look outside of your comfort zone and find products that suit what you're looking for, with features that suit what you're looking for. You can't be sort of tied to a brand that is the one you think you want until you try something else and see. So yeah, I'm sold, definitely. Yeah, it's really good. I definitely recommend sort of touchscreen devices and things to people that have Parkinson's, to maybe just go in the shop and give them a try. But if anyone has any more particular questions about the product, I can try and answer them, or see if someone else can answer them for them. But yeah, well done, Microsoft. It's good. It's really good.